Yeah, correct.
You literally do this.
Yeah, correct.
Here for several hours. You wake up, and there's your brilliant new permanent smile.
Hey, Dr. John Axel.
When people have woken up and a mirror was put in front of them, sobbing took place. So it's that life-changing. And that's a new set of stunning teeth when you wake up. Right now, well, until January 31st, $1,000 off your procedure. Honey Dental also offers no money down payment plans. Restrictions apply. Call 888-640-SMILE, 888-640-SMILE, 888-640-SMILE.
Save is a base. Spread like a base. Spread like a base.
Anything too much? Check out our brand new Fletcher Jones Fan Center in Costa Rica. We're offering a better service value with no late appointments and extended hours for your convenience. And as part of the Fletcher Jones family of dealerships, your customer experience will always be second to none. Visit FJBrands.com to stop on in. Mention this ad and the first 100 customers will receive a free oil change. The new Fletcher Jones Van Center, Costa Rica, keeping your work van working.
Checking your Kfi financial report. Well, the Dow starts out the day up 446. S&P up 83. Nasdaq up 353. And the average price of a gallon of unleaded gas in California is $4.64. Socal Weather from KFI. We've got a mostly sunny day ahead. Windy, though, and the winds should really pick up this morning. Start to die down this afternoon. Highs today will be in the mid-60s to mid-70s. We'll keep it mild for tomorrow. Right now it's 49 in Irvine, 43 in Rancho Santa Margarita, 45 in Pacific Palisades. We leave local. Live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Jennifer Jones Lee.
AM 640, Bill Handle here. It is a Wednesday morning, January 26th. Some of the big stories that we are covering. A California judge has delayed enforcement of part of the new Farm Animal Welfare Act. The act, for example, where animals who are caged must have room to turn around, room just to do a little bit of moving, and the pork producers, the stores, distributors, etc., are arguing that it cause price hikes and supply shortages. Oh yeah, what a day! Another fresh products. The judge said no, we're not going to do it yet. We need some more regulations before I'm going to kick that in. And here's I won't say it's a remember. That's all. It's been 2 years since the helicopter crash that killed Kobe Bryant. His daughter Gianna was 7 years. It feels like yesterday, isn't it? And yet it's been for 2 years. Now, a little bit about policy and law and where we are as a society. And I love doing these stories because I'm always fascinated about where this country has gone, is going, and where it will go in the future. And one of the things that we are, in my opinion, well behind is, of course, national health. We're moving in that direction. That's one of the things that we're talking about here. But this specific one has to do with paid sick leave. That's the other problem we have. We don't have paid sick leave in this country. You're just not entitled to it. Now, there are programs that give it to you. Last year, for example, there was a state program that gave 20 days of sick leave if it was connected to COVID, or taking care of someone who had COVID. Now, you are entitled federally to 6 weeks of non-paid sick leave, in which your job under certain circumstances, depending on how big the company is, that's protected, you need to pay for that. So this bill, which is just about to go be voted on. It's a deal that was announced by the governor, legislative leaders here. And this is because of the continued Omicron surge for the most part. And the labor shortage that's going across the workforce. And here's some facts. The number of Californians who are not working last month because they or a family member had COVID went up 320%. How's that? That's that. And California workers have been without paid leave on top of the 3 days of regular paid leave, which we had here in California during COVID, and that program ended last September 30th. So the pandemic peaks again. We're in not as bad shape, but in pretty bad shape relative to COVID. And so they're kicking in this new plan, state plan, paid leave. How much? Under what circumstances? Well, first of all, the new leave program will be retroactive to January 1st. So that starts at the beginning of this month, and will go into, will extend through September 30th. So it'll be for the most part of this year. And how to pay for it, because the businesses have to, in this case, keep the right checks. They have to still keep people on payroll. It used to be where the extended time where you didn't work, you had a stimulus package, you had unemployment, and instead of sick leave that time in the middle of that, and nobody really cared, they were going to $50,000 a year. $1,000 a week supplemental income. That's from the Fed, Ontario, California did. And so this one, the costs go directly to the businesses, but it only covers employers for 26 or more work. And how are they going to pay for it? How are the companies being reimbursed? To the state, and the end is going to pay for it, tax credits. They will get tax credits. And anybody, any full-time employee of a company that has 26 or more workers gets 40 hours of paid leave due to COVID. That's a week. That doesn't cover the side effects of the shot. In that case, if you have side effects, that gives you 24 hours of paid sick leave. Workers would have to show proof that they or a family member have tested positive. It's not going to be one of those home tests. And why is that such a big deal? Because the California Chamber of the business folks said, we were looking at possible fraud by employees. I mean, during COVID, during the stimulus package, we think, and that's the latest figure, that here in California alone, it was $80 billion of fraud.
I don't want to see her. I want to win.
During the pandemic, in the middle of the pandemic.
Saturday.
And the employer must pay for it, provide the test. If the worker refuses to take or show a positive test result, then they'll just simply So there's another one. No one's going to force me to be vaccinated. And in this case, I don't think they bitch about taking the test, do they? No, I think it's more no one's going to mandate for tests. But that is not government. Although, I'm trying to remember if the government says no vaccine. I think that more and more venues are saying that. You have to show vaccination. Certainly at SoFi Stadium, you go to the Super Bowl, you have to have that vaccination. No matter what your, I don't think testing, I have it right. Testing really makes any difference. They want to show, well, test negative, there's an issue where they may let you in. But it's both vaccination, that's the big one. And I think testing is the optional one, but you got to show it. You don't. Now, is that a government mandate? No, it's private business. The government, we still have to figure out what's going on. But under the government, this is a state program of paid sick leave. This is one where you got to show that you have COVID or have had COVID or dealing with someone in the family that does have COVID. And if you don't, this paid sick leave doesn't kick in. So this is not general sick leave, paid sick leave, which many countries around the world, actually most countries around the world, offer. Because this is America, and we just don't. All right, let's get out of here. And now we're going to go to another governmental program. And this one has to do with eviction protection and what it means to local renters and owners of property who rent. This is KFI AM 640, and let's check in with Jennifer.
San Jose is now the first city in the U.S. to require gun owners to carry liability insurance to measure with passed by the city council last night. A man in Texas will be sentenced in May for smuggling illegal immigrants in flag-draped coffins that he claims held a fallen Navy sailor. He could get 5 years and a six-figure fine. An animal rights group is offering a new suggestion for replacing Punxsutawney Phil in a letter sent to the Punxsutawney Groundhog Club. The group offered to buy a persimmon tree to plant in Gobbler's Knob, noting that the first seeds are as accurate as predicting weather as Phil. We've got your drive with Kfi in the sky and the 6:05 next.
Hey all, it's Dean Sharp. Are you looking to sell your home in 2022? Well, congratulations. That is a big deal. For most of us, it's the biggest deal of all. So let's make sure you get everything out of it that you can, yeah? Before you get ready to list, make sure you call the good folks at Revive. Revive's business is to maximize your home's sale value. How? By guiding you through market-critical upgrades before you sell. It's like flipping your own home, except Revive fronts the cost and guarantees results. Yeah, you heard that right. No money out of pocket and a higher selling price guaranteed. You can list higher and sell faster in just a few short weeks. In fact, the average homeowner sees $160K in additional profit. This is a no-brainer. Revive has created an easy, stress-free way to maximize your greatest asset, your home. So, are you thinking about selling? Then before you do anything, chat with an advisor at Revive. To get started, go to iloverevive.com. That's iloverevive.com.
Favor and dinner at Whole Foods Market. Get animal welfare certified air-killed boneless skinless chicken breast for $4.99 a pound through February 1st, while supplies last. Plus, Prime members save an extra 10%. See more on the Whole Foods Market app.
Socal Weather from KFI, sunny and windy today with highs from the mid-60s to the mid-70s. This report is brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Let's look at that drive on the 605.
Yeah, we're still the problem actually coming off the 605. Now be heads up if you're coming down, south 605, turn away from the 210. You're going to transition to the west 10. Right in the middle of that transition, someone lost it about a half an hour ago. They wound up down the right embankment. Those trucks are there. I'm looking at it right now. I think they're trying to figure out how to get the car out. So they might have to close it. Right now it's open. And after you get on the west end, well, it's full out there about Rosie. I'll figure what's going on there in just a few minutes. And just want to warn you about a problem leaving LAX East 105 Long Beach Boulevard. Also ring with flags from Wilmington. After that, finally in good shape. Injured in an accident, visit Chipperwoman, chipperlawyer.com. Jeff Fogg, AFI in the sky.
This report is sponsored by Blindster. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blind shades and shutters shipped directly to you at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are easy to install and guaranteed to fit. Don't overpay for new blinds. Shop Blindster today and save big. Blindster.com.
You know what gets me? We invite friends over, we cook a great meal, and all they rave about is the water. Ever since we got a Purigan Water whole house filtration system, all I ever hear is, wow, this water's really great. Nothing on the food. Nothing. Purigan gets all the praise. The water, it's okay. I don't mind. Well, okay, maybe a little. Why pay for bottled water when Purigan can make your tap water taste so good? That's all the guests talk about. Purigan removes the bad chemicals and gives you the good minerals. No matter where you live in Southern California, you're getting chemicals in your tap water. So get Purigan for your family's sake. And no hard water residue or damage to your pipes. Imagine a shower door with no calcium buildup. That alone is worth it. Get great tasting water with no chemicals and 0 down, no payments for the first 3 months. Know what you're drinking. Call Purigan, 844-80-WATER, 844-80-WATER, or go to PURagainwater.com. That's PURagainwater.com.
This is Leland Smith, owner of Service Champion Plumbing, Heating, and AC, and I want you to know that we have the world's friendliest technicians. Here's how we do it. We only have friendly people. It's the very first thing we look for during the interview. If they're not friendly, it's a deal breaker. We think we're checking their experience and technical abilities, but we're really seeing if they smile on them. We're checking to see if they're polite, approachable, outgoing, and kind. And if they are, and only if they are, then you take a look at their technical abilities. But if they're grumpy, don't smile, or aren't polite, no job. The result is an entire team of 200 of the world's friendliest technicians. Call us in for yourself. Our precision tune-up and professional cleaning is just $88. Call Service Champions at 833-777-7777 or find us online at servicechampions.com.
Contractor license 1047-71.
This is Ken Goodrich of Gettle, and I want you to save money and save your heating and cooling system. The heat pump is basically just an air conditioner running backwards. Instead of pumping cold air into the home and hot air outdoors like it does in the summer, a heat pump reverses that process during the winter. But that means your air conditioner is running round the clock 365 days a year. And with heat pumps, big, expensive problems begin as small, affordable problems that were ignored for way too long. Routine maintenance will keep your heat pump happily doing its job long after everyone else's has laid down and died. Let Gettle rejuvenate your heat pump, and it will say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you 24 hours a day. Just $129. No one knows heat pumps like Gettle. Goettl. It'll keep you cool, but it's hard to spell. Call right now, okay?
The dawn of a new thrill has arrived. Yamala Resort and Casino at San Manuel. Southern California's #1 casino now offers even more for you to discover. With an all-new stunning 17-story hotel topped by the rooftop Y Lounge featuring panoramic views and sweeping vistas, a luxury spa and posh pool oasis, tempting culinary and cocktail experiences, and over 6,500 slots, the most on the West Coast. Awaken your sense of discovery. Yamala Resort and Casino at San Manuel.
This winter, we must all do our part to protect ourselves and loved ones from COVID-19. Getting vaccinated gives you the greatest protection against severe illness and death. And for the first time, everyone in the family ages 5 and up is eligible for the vaccine. If you are already fully vaccinated, get your booster to keep your immunity strong. Keeping tours safer is simple. Get vaccinated. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find a vaccination location near you. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
These are organized gangs of people. Forgive me for saying gangs.
But you're talking about people who are robbing the trains.
They have feelings.
Gangs committing crime.
Yes, they're organized groups of folks.
Gary and Shannon, weekdays at 10 a.m.
Folks are people that go to the Cracker Barrel and eat breakfast. Those are folks.
On KFI.
Good morning, Bill Handel here. It is a Wednesday morning, January 26th. One of the big stories that we are covering, City of San Jose is about to pass a law. Gun owners will be required to carry liability insurance and pay a fee to the city. And this is the first kind of bill, it's first of its kind in the United States in terms of a city or a state or any jurisdiction. Now, we're going to what's going on with COVID and the reemergence of the Omicron virus, although right now it's pretty good news. It's falling, but still various areas of the country are still moving south when it comes to the numbers, or if you look at the graph, moving north when it comes to the numbers. And so the government, in terms of COVID response, this is the survey, the polls, I don't understand why Joe Biden is getting nailed on this so much in terms of his response. I don't know what else he could have done. I mean, the government is going balls to the walls, but, the virus is winning as far as the number of deaths that it hit us, and the economy is still being nailed. And one of the groups of people that are hurt the most have been renters, because rent continues no matter what. I mean, you can choose not to buy beef because of inflation. You can't choose not to pay rent. That doesn't matter. If you're out of work, if you've lost your job, you still have to pay, and so are there programs that are there. Yeah, the state and the counties have moved in. California, the state of California, LA County, the city of Los Angeles has moved in to deal with it. And what is going on right now? Well, the Board of Supervisors here in Los Angeles voted yesterday to extend countywide eviction protection through the end of the year and continue to freeze on rent hikes for tenants in the unincorporated parts of the county where there is no jurisdiction other than the county itself. So, under the new rules, landlords will not be able to evict low-income tenants, this is mean tested, over non-payment of rent until at least 2023, maybe longer, maybe another year. And that helps tenants, and landlords are going completely crazy. are strongly protesting the extension, let's at least go back to the pre-pandemic rules where there was plenty of protection to begin with for renters. And right now, if you look at the dates, the rent, the eviction protections for landlords, it's 2 years now they haven't had any where they couldn't evict or raise the rent. And obviously, that hurts landlords, property owners a whole lot. But then again, something has to give. Are you going to hurt renters or are you going to hurt landlords? And during the pandemic, the choice has clearly been renters because you feel sorry for renters. Landlords still have a place to live. Renters do not. And as this was going to expire, and there was one expiration date allowing evictions for back payment, for non-payment of back rent, the housing market was going to explode as people were simply going to get kicked out because rents have not been raised, evictions have not been allowed, and the new protection even talks about no-fault evictions. Those cannot be enforced. What's a no-fault eviction? Well, the tenant does nothing wrong, but the landlord wants in. Family member walking in or living in the unit, or renovations, big-time renovations, and the family has to move out, or taking the units off the rental market. No choice anymore. Landlords cannot evict those people over non-payment, especially if they've done nothing wrong, and it's connected to COVID. And, this protection had already existed in the pandemic, but it changed, and it stopped. So since October, landlords have been able to pursue evictions because that eviction protection was in place. Now, state law still provides eviction protections if you apply for rent relief, which is kind of weird. Why wouldn't everybody apply for rent relief? Well, if you're not eligible, I guess the application doesn't count. If you make over $95,000 a year, for example, and that is one of the criteria, and you have applied or not applied, you're not eligible at all. And this is going to keep on going. Now, LA has its own protection, which has always been among the most renter-friendly jurisdictions in the United States. And City of Santa Monica is crazy. City of Santa Monica, when it comes to its rent board that controls evictions and increases in rent that are allowed, don't ever get into litigation if you own a piece of property with a tenant. Overpayment, non-payment, just hand them the keys to the apartment and just say, here you go. It's cheaper to just hand you the keys. And it is really crazy. And even in rent-controlled areas, the tenant doesn't have to pay the increase. Even under tough rent control laws, like the city of LA, the owner of the property was able to raise the rent once a year. Under rent control, if there was a long-term lease, at least to match with inflation here or there. Sort of a rough match with inflation. That's all gone. No protections at all. Now, are there state programs that help? Yeah, but not close. So it looks like another year, if you're a landlord, you're going to be in trouble. And if you are a renter and you meet the criteria, and there's a whole lot of millions of those, you're going to be off the hook for at least a year. Coming up, Cheapskate University with Clark Howard, and that's always tremendous. And this time I think we're going to talk about hiring a contractor because everybody's at home and they want to deal with being at home. I'll talk to Clark in a few minutes. This is KFI AM 640. Let's check in with Jennifer.
The California Attorney General's office has started an investigation into the killing of a man by a Riverside County anti-gang unit. The Riverside County Sheriff's Department says members of the gang impact team last week approached a man they suspected was selling fentanyl. After officers tried to disarm him with non-lethal weapons, they shot him. He died at the scene. News is brought to you by Sweet James Accident Attorneys. A new survey shows 80% of homeowners in San Clemente are in favor of building a new hospital in the city.
A majority also supported using public funds to pay for it. Mayor Gene James says the survey was not clear about the 3% property tax increase needed to support the estimated $200 million building cost. or the continuing cost to maintain it.
Our previous hospital operators there simply did not have enough demand, in their view, to justify the operation of inpatient care in San Clemente.
However, he says many homeowners are concerned the closest emergency room is up to 30 minutes away. The city will continue the discussion at a town hall in March. In Orange County, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
Police will be keeping a closer eye on street racers in the West San Fernando Valley. LA City Councilman Bob Blumenfield will be spending $100,000 from his discretionary fund to pay an LAPD task force to work overtime and crack down on races in his district. He says racing is not only an annoyance, but also a safety issue.
More people die in the San Fernando Valley from traffic accidents than they do from homicide.
Blumenfield is also working to make changes that would discourage street racing and dangerous driving across the area. Caltrans crews have cleared a homeless camp near SoFi Stadium ahead of the Super Bowl. Several dozen people appeared to be living at a location under the 405 freeway at Century Boulevard yesterday. It was the second day crews spent clearing homeless camps. Caltrans says they gave 72-hour warning before the cleanup began, and social workers handed out housing vouchers.
This is wrong what they're doing.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has vowed to fight a decision by the FDA to block the use of 2 COVID-19 antibody treatments.
This is not based on a clinical trial. This is not even peer-reviewed. And so this is something that they claim shouldn't be used because we have Omicron.
Federal health regulators say the drugs from Regeneron and from Eli Lilly were found to be ineffective against the virus. DeSantis says in his state people have had good results from the treatment. It's a race to the bottom to the South China Sea. The U.S. Navy and the Chinese Navy each want to be first to locate a U.S. fighter jet that crashed during a military exercise.
The nearly $100 million F-35C crashing into the flight deck of the aircraft carrier USS Carl Vinson earlier this week during a routine mission and then falling into the water.
ABC's Matt Gutman says the fighter jet is packed with highly classified stealth technology. We got your ride on the 10.
You betcha. Well, we'll start with the San Bernardino Freeway. Good morning, and thanks for joining us here. But I mentioned a problem on West Report, if you were listening, West 10, west of the 605 on Rosemead. Sure enough, it was there, but over to the right shoulder. So that's what all that slowing was all about. After that, a fairly good drive to the 710. Now, we've just had a look at the South 101 Hollywood Freeway. That's not too bad. It's morning drive slow from Sunset Boulevard down, but believe it or not, that's kind of normal. And you just heard Handel talk about Santa Monica, the city up. Well, the westbound Santa Monica Freeway, boy, it's in that mode this morning. It's just a crawl from Vermont out to about Robertson, and then magically things will improve a little bit. Eastbound looking good. Injured in an accident, visit SuperwomanSuperLawyer.com. Jeff Baugh, KFI in the sky.
The Baseball Hall of Fame will have a new member. With the votes tallied, only Red Sox legend David Ortiz garnered enough votes to meet the 75% threshold and get in. Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Kurt Schilling had their last chance and didn't qualify. I'm Wayne Resnick, KFI Sports. If you own a business and manage to keep 5 or more employees on the payroll during the pandemic, there is a new government program that will pay you tens of thousands of dollars per employee. And it's just difficult to get the money. That's the problem. It's a complicated federal bureaucracy. And InnovationRefunds.com is the company that I'm recommending that cuts through that red tape, there's lots of it, and gets you the money. They're simply experts at doing this. InnovationRefunds.com does all the legwork and do not charge. They don't charge a dime until you actually receive the money, and then they take a percentage. That is a contingency arrangement, and that's how they work. And in another program, this is a personal experience, they got my company a 6-figure refund. And in this program, the average client gets $250,000. That's serious money. Go to InnovationRefunds.com, click on the Qualify Me button, answer a few questions, and they do it. They do the rest. InnovationRefunds.com, InnovationRefunds.com.
Here's SoCal weather from KFI. We've got a sunny and windy Wednesday. Highs will be in the mid-60s to the mid-70s. The wind will start to taper off this afternoon, and then by tomorrow, just sunny and mild. We lead local, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur. In 2016, one of my employees accidentally clicked through an online vendor's contract, which recommitted my company to an additional 12 months of their service. I called the vendor to explain the accident. Nope. They pointed to their ironclad contract, told me to pay or else. I will pay them, but after 12 months, I'm gone. I've been in business over 30 years, and I've never made my customers sign a long-term contract. Never. And now, my fifth successful company, Patriot Software, offers payroll to business owners with 1 to 100 employees, and there's no long-term contract. And if you need help with your payroll, we will help you for free. Go to patriotsoftware.com, use promo code RADIO, and get 2 months of payroll free. That's patriotsoftware.com.
Have you checked your home equity lately? It's probably higher than you think. Listen, with mortgage rates still in the twos, it's a great time to call Cake Mortgage to put that equity to work. Let's pay off that high-interest credit card debt. Let's get you that new kitchen. And let's ditch that pesky PMI. Your equity is a sleeping giant. Wake it up. How does $25, $50, or even $100,000 sound to you right now? Pretty sweet, right? Start your cash-out refi with Cake now, and you could go 2 months without a single mortgage payment. Not only that, get your instant personalized rate quote with no credit check and no data collection. Don't wait. Call Cake 877-818-CAKE for the lowest rates, lower costs, and a stress-free experience. Again, that's 877-818-2253, or visit cakehome.com. That's cakehome.com to get started. It's a piece of cake.
Equal housing lender licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Not licensed in all 50 states, including New York. Visit cakehome.com for licensing terms and restrictions.
2022 means a super selection for you from Norm Reed's Honda Superstore. Online at normreeds.com.
KFI AM 640.
An iHeart radio station.
More stimulating talk.
All the best things in life are free. You can keep them for the birds and bees out in the
Good morning. It is a Wednesday morning, January 26th, and it is time for Cheapskate University with Clark Howard. Clark, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, Bill?
I'm okay. We haven't talked in a while.
I know. You know, I was sick. You may or may not know that. I came down with something I was sure was COVID because Lane had gotten COVID. And it wasn't. I tested negative a couple of times, but I had high fever and I was completely just like out of it. Now I'm fully back and recharged and I'm alive again.
Yeah, you know, for a guy who walks like you do and is
12 miles yesterday.
I mean, that is unbelievable. You are the perfect example, which is what I follow, and that is the more you exercise, the sicker you're going to be. And if you do it enough, it's going to kill you.
You think so?
Yeah. That's a strong philosophy I have. Well, I'm glad that you're back to normal and we're talking again. And before we get into talking about a contractor, this whole issue with COVID and particularly the supply chain issue, and the lack of the ability to manufacture, getting raw supplies of any kind, how much has that screwed up everything, and in what ways, price-wise, and ability to get it?
All over the world. I mean, Bill, you know, we concentrate just on what we're experiencing when we walk in the supermarket in Southern California or walk into a discount store or try to buy a TV or whatever. And the reality is this is happening all over the world for a few reasons. One, right now, Omicron led to extreme labor shortages at every point, from manufacturing to shipping to distribution to trucking to warehousing to the stores themselves. We've had all these disruptions, and then we have so much money. We pump too much money into the economy, not just in the United States, but also in Western Europe. Too much money went flowing from government, printing money, the deficits we ran, to get money into people's pockets, and it created too much money flowing around for too few goods. And so we have this combination of factories slowing down, workplaces not having enough workers. Obviously, we didn't have enough truckers before COVID. Now it's really been ugly with the trucking. So we've got issues on both the supply side and the demand side from too much money. So the Federal Reserve is going to take away a lot of punch from the punch bowl. And that's going to start to soak up some of that excess money out there. People that are stock investors are seeing their portfolios shrink. That's going to reduce some of the demand. And ultimately, we're going to get past COVID and learn to live with it. And the supply issues will resolve. And it's going to be haphazard depending by industry. But we'll see it steadily improve over the next year or so. I mean, a lot of what we have right now is, you can't call the illness artificial, but the disruptions to the marketplace are not structural. They are because of labor, and then all that money flowing in. Think about last year, Bill, and the year before, how the Congress kept throwing money out there like candy.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. I mean, it was beyond comprehension. The amount of money, the programs that had to start, the fraud. I mean, it was out of control. One quick one before we take a break, and then we're going to go into deals of the week, if there are any. And
oh yeah, I got
okay. No, sorry, I'm talking to car. I know, I'm talking to car power. Sorry. But something came up. We were originally, or we had talked, I had talked and read about the shortage of rare earth minerals that came from China that we really needed for cell phones, etc. Now the entire issue, and I mean it's a big issue, are the chips, the computer chips. And one of the big sanctions that Joe Biden is going to put on Russia is just stopping countries from selling chips as possible from China, but the sanctions against Russia just in computer chips. And that is going to shut down Russia, is what I'm told. That's the severity of the chip industry, or the severity of the shortage. And I'm just thinking, I mean, I guess chips are that important where you can shut down an entire economy. I mean, frankly, if there's a shortage of, let's say, toys, for your kids, that's not the end of the world. And who likes their kids anyway? So I don't understand that. But when it comes to that, an entire country's economy is based on just that item. Explain how serious that could be.
Yeah, so my concern about chips is not just that we can't get the vehicle we want right now, or that you might not be able to get the TV you want, or any of those things. What I'm concerned about is the control the Chinese have over the market, with the Chinese becoming more and more aggressive, potentially in the future more violent. We don't know what kind of risk Taiwan's under. We in the United States need to develop the capacity to manufacture the chips we need, or that our allies do so in combination with us, because it really, I mean, it's bad that we're having, you go buy a new car dealer and they have no new cars on the lot. But that's nothing compared to the risk of having a country that is our adversary. And China clearly is moving steadily from adversary to potential enemy again. To create the infrastructure for manufacturing the chips that we need for our economy and for our defense purposes.
And we're doing that right now. Intel is building a